Are you looking for the fastest way to hunt the Sisters of Parvos for those insane rewards like the Ephemeras and Tenet weapons? Well, I figured out a way that makes it possible to get level 1 Sisters for that final confrontation. It really comes down to a brilliant strat involving the sequence of the Requiem mods with the Parvos on when executing a Sister or Lich. Whether you're returning to Warframe or someone newer to the game, I'll go over everything you need to know about hunting Sisters of Parvos.
Oh no you don't, you dirty duder!
Before you could actually start a Sisters of Parvos hunt, make sure you have completed the War Within, Call of the Tempestari, and Deadlock Protocol, because we'll need the melee weapon from that quest, Joris, to do a mini game within the Corpus mission called Granum Void, which is part of the hunt process. And finally, reach Mastery Rank 5. It's a lot of prerequisites, but the rewards you get from the hunts are worth it. Now let's talk about Requiem mods. These are needed to figure out the Sisters of Parvos sequence with your Parvos on when executing them. There are 9 Requiem mods total, 8 normal, 1 rare. There is Foss, Jahu, Crawl, Loke, Netra, Riz, Vom, Jata, and the rare mod Oull, which is the most important one because it can imitate any of the others, and we'll be taking advantage of that to help speed up the hunt process. It seems like there are only 3 ways you can get an Oull at the moment. The first way is upon completion of the final sequence when executing a Lich or a Sister, which is 25%. It's not terrible, but it's not exactly great either. Another way is trading with players in game. I highly recommend using Warframe Market. I've seen them go for as low as 15 plat, but they can go up to 20 plus. For new players, please do yourself a favor and buy an Oull. You can do hunts without them, but it will take you so much longer to complete, and you can easily knock off an hour of the hunt just by getting one. Also remember, when buying a fresh Oull from a player, make sure it has 3 charges. If it doesn't, then that means it's been used, just FYI. And the last method is transmuting 4 Requiem mods for the chance at getting 1 Requiem mod. It's basically Gamba, but if you don't want to pay the plat, I guess you could do this as your best option to get an Oull mod. You could also transmute the ones that have no charges as well. So how do you get Requiem mods? From Requiem Relics. Just go to your navigation and look for mission nodes that have a Kuva symbol. They're usually near the Kuva fortress. If we take a look at these charts, Kuva siphons have a 50% chance to reward a Requiem relic, while Kuva floods have a 100% chance to get it as a reward. Then just run a Requiem Fisher and hope for the best you get one as a reward at the end of the mission. Requiem relics can also be rewarded from executing thralls during Kuva Lich hunts and Hounds during Sister hunts. It's a 5% chance, but you'd be surprised on how often these drop. Next thing we'll go over is Progenitors and how to know which Warframe to choose before you start a hunt. Use this chart to help you pick what Warframe you want, because that will determine the elemental damage connected to that Sister's weapon, which can range from 25% all the way up to 60%. This will also affect the Ephemera as well, which has a 20% chance to spawn on a Sister or Lich, so good luck with that.
I was at the end of my rope, till I met you.
So how to start a Sisters of Parvos hunt? The best place will definitely be Hydra on Pluto, because it's a capture mission which is fast to complete. And I will show you the whole process step by step. So start Hydra on normal. For newer players, wait until a treasure spawns, which can be from 2 or even up to 5 minutes before it shows up. Kill it quickly so you can get a Zenith Granum crown, which is like a Corpus coin. Then complete the mission, so that way you could always have an extra crown for the Granum Void. Now I need to mention that the melee weapon Joris will be used in the Granum Void, just like in the quest The Deadlock Protocol, but you don't really need it since the rank 1 reward is required to spawn the candidate that has the Tenet weapon. But we're not going to do the Granum Void on this mission. All you're doing is getting a crown and then completing the mission, so that way you could always have an extra crown on you when you're doing Sister hunts. Start up Hydra again, only this time immediately start looking for a golden statue with a terminal you can interact with. Insert the crown, go in the portal, and complete the Granum Void. Remember, you just need rank 1. If for some reason you're struggling on this, pick up the golden pyramids because they increase the timer. You could find them on the map and they drop from enemies. The Joris is also nice here though, because you could free the NPC allies with the AoE and they increase the timer as well. After you complete it, a candidate will spawn that has the Tenet weapon. Make sure to capture the target if you haven't already, then head towards the exit until it spawns. You should also wait until the treasure shows up as well to get the extra Granum crown. When the candidate finally shows up, do damage and the enemy will become downed. Now you can check which Tenet weapon it has. If it's not what you're looking for, don't execute it and instead complete the mission. This will cycle out the weapon to make sure the candidate has something different the next time it spawns. And that is exactly why we always have an extra crown, because if you don't get the weapon you want, you don't always have to wait for the treasure to spawn. You're already going to have a crown that you can use on the statue. Rinse and repeat until you find the weapon you want, then execute. After completing the mission, you will be greeted by the sister and the orbiter, and some of them have funny quirks or personalities, so you might get some interesting dialogue. Go to your navigation and look for the Sister of Parvos icon on the bottom to check the stats. It will show the weakness and resistance, so remember to mod your weapon properly so you could actually do damage. And hopefully you got an ephemera as well, but we all know how that goes. Now go to the planet Venus and you'll see it has cyan clouds. Those missions are controlled by the sister.
A sector! Gosh, a sector's a big responsibility!
Basically, hounds will spawn in these missions, and you need to execute them to get something called Murmur. Then you will see a circular gauge slowly start to fill up on the top of your screen. Once it is full, you will uncover the first Requiem mod for that Parazon sequence. Unlike thralls with liches, there will be less hounds that spawn, but they do give you way more Murmur. Don't worry about the sequence right now, your main focus should be to uncover the first Requiem mod. There are 3 total you need to uncover, just like in my Kuvalich video, we'll keep this simple. The first mod you uncover we'll call it mod 1, the second is mod 2, and the third will be mod 3. So now if I say a random sequence for the Parazon like 213, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. As you go through these missions and execute enough of the hounds, this will enrage the sister. There are 5 stages: indifferent, annoyed, fuming, furious, and enraged. This will determine when the sister decides to show up in the mission. If the sister spawns in the mission before you uncover the first Requiem mod, just ignore her and continue doing missions until you uncover that first Requiem mod for the sequence. Now here's where the strat comes into play on how to get a Sister of Parvos at level 1. The first sequence combination of the Parazon should look like this from left to right. Oull in the first spot, the first Requiem mod we just uncovered in the middle, then followed by a random mod in the third spot. This should be your setup every single time you do a Lich or Sister hunt at level 1. Because Oull is 100% guaranteed to work, then mod 1 is the only Requiem mod we've uncovered, so it goes in the middle. And then a random mod in the third spot, which is just a placeholder for right now. Keep doing missions until the sister spawns again, but make sure you only execute 2 times because what we're trying to do is figure out the middle spot of the sequence. If it doesn't work at level 1, then she will level up, go to the next planet, and you repeat the process of executing more hounds until uncovering the second Requiem mod. So the sequence was Oull mod 1 random, then we'll change it to Oull mod 2 mod 1. But say if it does work and you figure out the middle spot at level 1, don't execute the third time, instead leave and complete the mission. This will keep the sister at level 1, and now we know what the middle spot of the sequence is, which makes this so much easier. Then once you uncover mod 2, switch that with the random mod in the third spot, so it should look like this. From Oull mod 1 random to Oull mod 1 mod 2. Now go for the full execute the next time the sister spawns and see if you get lucky with the sequence.
Sir Parvos, that he doesn't want to stay dead. Don't you?
Holy sh**, level 1, dude. And if it doesn't work and you get the third spot wrong, then switch the combo from Oull mod 1 mod 2 to Oull mod 1 mod 3. Because the third spot of the sequence wasn't mod 2, then the only other choice for it to be is mod 3, and that will complete the hunt when executing the level 2 sister. It's process of elimination, and the fact that Oull automatically gives us the first spot for free means we can complete hunts twice as fast. The last 2 sister hunts I did live on Twitch were both under an hour while using this strat. And I guess I'll throw this in as well. If you're not using Oull, then I guess your first execute would be mod 1, random, and random. But I'm telling you, if you don't use Oull, you are most likely gonna get it to level 5, especially if it's like your first few hunts.
Parvos is light. You better start showing some gratitude. Wrong! It just breaks my heart to have to do this.
Holy shit, dude.
Parvos sends you guardians.
Dude, level 5 is like a raid boss. As for the missions, I use Hydroid for survival, mobile defense, and interception. Hydroid's 4 ability locks down everything and is just the best option for interception in my opinion. Just built for max range. I was literally standing around waiting for Hounds to spawn. He just makes the mission so much easier. Plus, if you have the Pilfering Swarm Augment mod, survival is a cakewalk. You could just always keep your oxygen up without even trying. For defense, use whatever helps you complete it fast. Crowd control frames are nice, but can slow down the mission, so keep that in mind. For capture, rescue, exterminate, sabotage, use what frames you have available. I usually go with Volt and run around with an AoE weapon, but you could use whatever you have available like the Ignis, Glaxion, any Incarnate variant, or Prime weapon. And just about any Warframe will do, but if you're worried about dying all the time, then you could pick Valkyr because she can go invincible. I also recommend using Loki on Spy for newer players, but with Ciphers I could pretty much run that with Volt no problem. Just remember to make Ciphers because if you don't, then something like this might happen. I had it! Wait. Oh! Get off of me! When you finally guess the correct sequence when executing the sister, she will flee and be capped at that level. From the navigation menu, go to the Railjack mission icon and look for Neptune Proxima. There will be a node with the cyan clouds called Sister Confrontation. This is an Empyrean skirmish mission where players must eliminate a number of cruise ships and Corpus security nodes before boarding the sister's ship. If there are multiple squad members, each player's sister will spawn one by one until all of them are defeated. You want to do this in a group because you get corrupted keys for each sister defeated. You could get a total of 4. We'll talk more about that on this timestamp. Sisters in the final confrontation are protected by 2 random Warframe specters with her Hound. She is invulnerable to damage until her guardians are defeated and has only 1 large health bar. Once you down the sister, you'll be given 2 choices to convert or vanquish the sister. Now here's how I go about figuring out which one to convert or vanquish. If the sister has an ephemera, vanquishing or converting her will reward you with the item 100% of the time. It just comes down to if you want the gun and the Hound as well. In that case, you vanquish her, and then you will get the Hound and the gun in your inbox, then you can collect it in the foundry. But in my opinion, converting is the better option because you get the ephemera, a sister as a crew member with the ephemera, so it's kind of like a flex, and it looks cool, and you could even sell the sister for plat. And if it has a good weapon with high elemental damage as well, that can sell anywhere from 100 to 150 plat. If for some reason you don't really want the gun from the sister but it has a high elemental damage and is a desired weapon, you can convert her to sell the sister's weapon for plat. Players are always looking for Tenet weapons with high elemental damage so they can fuse it with their own. And if you still don't want to sell her, at least you can have them as a crew member, because some are actually pretty good. It just really depends on what weapon they have. Those are the only scenarios I can think of. I guess technically you wouldn't be maidenless anymore. So about those corrupted keys, after the sister confrontation, you will see a reward called corrupted keys. These are used to buy Tenet melee weapons at the parent sequence syndicate at a relay. You can also get these from Void Storms, which are Void Fishers and Empyrean missions, aka Railjack. When in the relay in the parent sequence syndicate, talk to Ergo Blast and check out the merchandise. His stock will constantly change, so make sure to check it whenever you can. The elemental damage on these melee weapons will be random. Last thing I want to talk about is how to trade a sister to a player. Go to the dojo, then go to a terminal, but you want to look for something called Crimson Branch, and you can trade with players that are in the same area. And that is finally the end of the video. This took me a long time to make. If the guide helped you out, don't forget to like it for the algorithm and subscribe for more future Warframe content. As of right now, I'm trying to figure out what games to play, but Warframe is my main one right now. So if you want to see me play the game, I'll be streaming live on Twitch, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.